Welcome back. This is Rob Giordano and Jason Watts. We're talking about expansion and growth. And the last topic we're here to talk about is the human capital piece, which is so incredibly difficult. Jason just said, whether it's finance or facilities or politics or legislation, all these things, you have all these in place, but you don't have the right people in place. It doesn't matter. It will crumble. So let's get back into this lightning in a bottle. What is it that you and your team looks for to find the right person for the right spot, find the right expert?
It's totally position dependent.
Yeah.
Right. So if I want a school administrator, if I want a principal, it's got to be someone who is calm under fire, who's good with people, who loves kids, who if a parent comes in the office yelling, they can actually put the fire out. They can calm them down, bring them aside, be empathetic. If I want a custodian, it's got to be someone who's passionate about keeping the school safe and clean and neat and those types of things. So it's really knowing what each position calls for based on how you run your program and what your mission and vision is and those types of things, and staying true to that. And sometimes we vacillate because hiring's hard these days, right? So we're finding people that maybe aren't the right fit, but they're close enough because we can't find anybody else. Sometimes you have to do that. If you do that, then you have to invest in the training and development that person may need. If you get lucky and you find someone who's a perfect fit, you're off and running. It's just harder these days.
How do you separate an application? So let's say you have, 30 applications for one slot. They all are, a bunch of them look good. You've narrowed them down, but how do you separate between what looks good on paper and what is going to be a great fit for your school? How do you do that? I mean, people look good on paper, but when they show up, things can be different. So how do you separate the wheat from the chaff, if you will?
Yeah, you need to have that punch list in advance. Have that punch list of what you need from each position. And as you go through and you're kind of scanning all the applications, we're checking these boxes off literally one by one. So it's first kind of developing what that punch list is for you in that role. It's also maybe knowing the nuances or the unique things that you like to pick out in an interview process. It kind of gives you the inkling that person's the right fit. I'll give you an example. So one of the things that I like, or one of the traits I like to find in someone is a scholar athlete, someone who played typically college sports, right?
Like a D1, D2, D3 athlete.
And almost any division doesn't matter. If they were successful as a student and as an athlete, they are someone who can balance two very stressful things and two things that require completely different types of skills, right? So if you can manage getting a degree, getting good grades, and maybe you're the captain of your softball team or you're the whatever point guard of your basketball team, that to me is a sign that person can handle something like being a teacher or even an administrator, right? So that's a nuance we like to look at.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, I also like to hire scouts. Eagle Scouts are great, a great source. And like my colleague JJ Zamora, military veterans. I know what we're going to get when we hire a military veteran. Very much like athletes, they're able to handle stress, able to do multiple things with team players.
Right.
All these things are important. Is there anything else, any other secrets you have up your sleeve that we might be able to share with over 2,000 people will see this video?
I would say a couple of things. One is get the interviewee you want them in an environment where they could be as comfortable as possible. Throw out silly questions. Have a very casual, non-related conversation to start, right? I mean, you want them as comfortable as possible to tell you what is true about them and how they feel about certain things. A lot of times these candidates get so fixated on, I have to say the right thing. I have to use certain vernacular, right? I don't care about any of that stuff. I want to know who you are and how you are. And the only way to get to that is to make them feel comfortable and relaxed. Some people are better than that, than others, but that's really critical for us. So we'll throw in questions like, what is the most overrated movie you ever see? And it throws them off. They're expecting some other kind of, question related to their job.
Sure.
And so by throwing them off kilter, it actually relaxes them, right? Or get them in an environment, maybe take them out to a restaurant or somewhere that's casual. It just allows that casual conversation, especially for a larger role, right? So if I'm going to hire an administrator as an example or an executive level, we're going to have multiple meetings. I want to see them in multiple environments. I want to throw out multiple scenarios to them and get as broad of a picture as I can. And lastly, knowing the questions to ask, the references. So sometimes references give you little hints that even though that person put them down as a reference, they don't fully invest themselves in saying this person is someone I would hire myself, right? Which is funny because you would think if I put down 3 people as a reference, they're all going to, vouch for me, right? Not always. And so having the right questions that you can ask these people to kind of dive deeper into the inner workings of what you can't find out in an interview. And so for us, it's kind of going off script. The more you're willing to go off scripts, and get people in an environment to be comfortable and then get those, references to give you the information that would really help you kind of fill out the picture. I think that's ideal.
And this is why we're here, today with Jason Watts from Scholarship Prep, because his years and years of experience, leading highly successful schools, we think is going to be helpful for you executive directors or you superintendents out there. I want to thank you very much on behalf of New Plan Learning. Thank you very much for all the hard work that you and your team are doing. It was great to see you, and thank you very much for sharing. This will go out nationally, and so hopefully there'll be a bunch of folks out there that are able to learn from your experience. So that's on behalf of JJ Zamora and myself on the development team of New Plan Learning. I want to thank you all very much and look forward to our next demystification video. Goodbye, everyone.